Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome to our first real work day of Dephemerember 2023. So let's take a look at what today brings us. So it is actually day 4 of Dephemerember and we have our first real prompt, which is a butterfly and 3 torn things. So as I've mentioned in my opening, my work during Dephemerember will not be for one journal. It's going to be about building my ephemera. So that's my plan today. I'm currently working on a magical moth journal. I will have a digital kit soon that will be all relating to the magical moth. If you've been following my end-to-end series on the magical moth journal, everything you're seeing in there will become available in my big digital kit that I'll be releasing eventually. I'm still kind of working on it. So anyways, let's get on to creating. So that's what I'm planning to create a bit today. So I painted some time ago some butterflies and moths. And then I've kind of digitally remastered and edited and recolored them. And so I have cut out a whole little baggie of them here. So we have these in our stash for today. And I want to create some fun ephemera using them. So I've got here a couple of nice pieces of handmade paper. It's brown and it has some good plant goodies in it, and I think that's what I'm going to use to kind of create the base for this. So let me just move this coffee out of the way, and I'm looking at the size of this. It's going to be about here. So I have to sort of decide what am I going to make, and I'm thinking about making kind of like an interesting sort of specimen / cabinet card type thing. So what I would like to do is get something that is a circle, or maybe even just a free form. You know what, let's just get a little bit let's just do something a little exciting. We won't even use a preformed kind of shape. Let's do this as like a free form. I'm just going to use this colored pencil here so that you can see what I do. Okay. And I'm just drawing a freeform shape that the moth will fit inside of. You see that? It's not round. It's not any particular, you know, mastered kind of shape. Oh yeah, my scissors are upstairs. Oh no, they're here. I thought I left them upstairs. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll cut this out. This isn't going to be our 3 torn things. Okay. So now we have this. So what I'm thinking is I want to make like some kind of a cool like journal cardy type thing with this, but it needs a background. So I have this leaf print that I've done. This is part of my carbonized leaves technique that I have shared as part of my Patreon. And I think I want to lay that down as a background, as a basis for a background. Now I also want to ink my moth a little, the white space around it. Where did my brown ink go? I used Distress ink today. I've been using these little Woody's inks lately that I got in some kind of like a art store, Desserts I think, in Canada. But I will use Distress ink today. I'm just going to ink all that white space kind of roughly there. Alright, so we have our shape. Now I want to first glue down this background because this is going to be kind of the basis for the whole back, and I don't need to layer anything under it to make what we're making today. So just lay that down. Okay. Now with our moth, I'm sorry, this way. Okay. I want to put it here, and then I'm just going to add glue to the center just to keep the moth where I want it to be. But I'm not going to glue the whole thing down because some other stuff might be happening here. Okay, so we need torn things, right? So first off, I have this bit of doily here, and it's quite pretty, but what I would like to do is to just darken it up with some nice color, like some maybe this deep dark. Okay, this is a bit black. We'll do that as a background. Then I need my other, nope, that's the right inker. Okay. And where is my luster wax? Right here. Take a little bit of gold luster wax and just go right on top of the black to add a little bit of luster. Okay. And I want to use a portion of this in here. So I'm just going to, this will be our first torn thing. I'm going to tear the top off of this doily. And we'll frame it here, I think. Yep, just like that. I want it to kind of have a random placement. I don't want it to be specifically, you know, symmetrical or anything. Okay, so lay that down in here. Okay. Now, I need another bit of torn things. I have this little bit of, this is just like a sparkly mesh. Hopefully you can see that. So what I want to do with this is, I've got just a little bit of it, but I'm going to make a little cut and then just kind of tear to get these little bits like this, because I want to add them on top of my butterfly. So I'm just going to put a few daubs of art glitter glue where I want to lay those down. Now keep in mind, art glitter glue, it's going to disappear. I am going to be stitching this though as well. I should mention that I will be putting stitching in here. It's going to be very necessary for the whole piece. And in my work, I actually do quite a bit of stitching because I just like how it looks. It also adds a lot of strength and stability to my work. So, okay, so now I'm just going to kind of tear. See how I've sort of torn, make a little cut. Let's make a little cut or else you get these really hard lines. Then just tear the rest. Now see, I've sort of torn this like in the shape of a moth. This one I'm going to put it right in the center and just glue that center down. And then come out here with the other gluey bits. And we should get kind of like a bit of a halo over our moth. So I'm going to give that just a moment to dry a little bit. And I will then do some stitching. Now I also have this, which is some eco-printed fabric. And I think what I would like to do with it is I want to create a couple of torn strip kind of tails here. So that one's kind of perfect. I need another one that's about the same size. Okay. So sort of like that. And I want that in here. I kind of want those to just hang down here. Okay. And then I also have another bit here that I'm going to tear the top off of, I think, because I'm thinking almost of doing like this right on top, so it'll be like a curtained hidden butterfly back there. So let's tear the top off of this and also trim it. So where can I tear this? Right here, I think. Let's make a little cut. And this is like a curtain panel. Tear that off. Okay. Gonna make another little cut because we have like a little seam on there. Okay. There's that torn edge. So it's a little bit shorter. That's kind of what I want, is just a little bit shorter. Or do I want the lace off to the side maybe? That actually might be cute too. I kind of like the freeform look of it. Okay. So we obviously need to stitch down and attach some things. So what I'm going to do first, I'll just explain it to you and then I'll come back. So I'm going to add some stitching on top of this moth right down the center here, and probably in a few lines coming out onto the wings. That's going to secure the moth and these and this, all this like fabricy stuff. Then I'm going to do a stitch around this to just attach that whole piece. And then we'll come back and we'll do some next steps. All right, so we're all stitched around. So you'll see I've done zigzagging down here. It's secured these, zigzag around, and then I just did some straight stitches down the wing, and that just secured everything down, okay? So now we got to come in and just cut off all the threads that you don't want. Sometimes, you know, I think you can leave them long, you can leave them, you know, short, or cut them off completely. One thing that I do is I do back stitch whenever I stitch on sturdy paper. These ones I'm going to leave long that are in the center because they can go down with these tails here. See that? Okay. So now I need to decide, I want to trim this down to size. Meaning make it the size of the ephemera that I want. Like, is this a journal card? Is this a tag? And I think I want it to be kind of like a wide journal card. Now just be careful as you do this. Do not cut your stitches, because that would not be good. Come over here. Nice and close, and maybe a little closer over there. Okay. Then at the bottom, I'm going to trim a little off just to even up the papers. Okay, so that's that. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm sort of feeling like it doesn't even really need a veil of any kind. I don't really feel like I even want to add any veiling on top of it. I really like being able to just see this as it is. It's quite pretty. I think I'm going to just make a little clip on here and kind of tear that again, just because it got folded over when I was stitching a little. There, that's better. And then I'll get rid of that little bit. Just cleaning up my stitches, right? The extra threads that I don't want there. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. Now we have this. So I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to just cut off the excess thread. Okay. And we have our 3 torn things because this was torn, and that was torn. So it follows all the rules per se. I may just do one more little cut at the top to just straighten that. I think it's a little There, that's more even. Okay. And then do I want this to be in a tag shape? You could also follow the top of this and make it a freeform shape, but I think, it's hard to say if I want a tag. I think I might leave it as a journal card. And then what I'll do next is I'm going to back it. Just add a little paper on back. You don't have to. I mean, you could leave the back, but I don't want to. Is there enough of that? Not quite. Almost. We have some painty paper here. Is this big enough? Not quite. We have all these little tiny scraps in my studio here. This will do. This is just some packaging, some brown paper, which is one of my very favorite materials to use for all sorts of things, including like backing and also just painting on, because it's just really fun. So I will come in and just trim. Our tails. And I feel like I do want to do something with the top of this to make it more like a tag, but I don't want to cut it into a tag shape. So what I think I'll do instead is use my circle punch and do this, just to give it a different sort of shape. And I'm not going to do it on bottom, just on top, so it is still like a tag. But then I want to come in with a few embellishments as well, to just kind of make it more interesting. So I have, let's grab this, I have a big basket of snippets and things that you'll probably see used many times throughout this series. And I've got all sorts of little things in it. So we have this. Big though, I think a little big maybe for this. It will take over. Yeah. What other things do I have? That pink is quite pretty, but again, I think, I don't know. Oh, I like it under there. Yeah, it doesn't really take over when it's just at the bottom, but I feel like we do need a little something up top to just create some continuity, some framing. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, and then we need something over here, but something different, not a flower. What do I have here? Maybe. Just needs to be kind of like, I don't know, something that will add interest, like a little collage or a little label. And I think it should have some pink in it, but we'll see. Maybe even, let's see what some of this would look like. I like that actually. Yeah. Okay, let's glue down these elements. Starting with this one. Oops. I want that more on center. Yeah. Okay. Now the big flower. I need to unclog my glue bottle. It is a little bit, it's like half clogged, but not wholly clogged. Take a look here. We want that to go up a little, I think. Yeah. I'm going to keep all the leaves on the card. We don't want them going off. There we go. Let's give that a nice press for a second. Bring our tail back down. This little bit of palette right there. This little ticket. Okay, perfect. Now I want to add some splatters in gold to this, I think, and then I'm going to stitch around it again. But also, I really love this Laurentian blue. I'm going to go around it. This is just a pencil crayon. It's the pencil crayon that you probably remember seeing me draw the circle with. And there was just something about the color that just kind of made me feel kind of happy. So I think I'm actually going to color in. I thought I was just going to outline, but I think I'm going to color in this handmade paper just a little bit with it. This is a vintage Laurentian pencil crayon. These are what we grew up with here in Canada in the, I guess, the 80s and 90s maybe. I don't know when they went out of business, but they were great pencil crayons. You could obviously use any pencil crayon to do something like this. And it's really nice, like on handmade paper, like that has texture, because you don't have to be concerned with it looking like, you know, childish or something, because it gives a nice texture on this handmade paper. It's like a pigment. You could use anything to do this though, really. And there's obviously fancy things like distress crayons, and I have all of that stuff. I'm just choosing to use what's in front of my face today. Okay. I like how that changed the color of everything. It just made it more, I don't know, something I like. Also, I'm looking at this little scrap and those threads that I cut off, and I think when I stitch around this, I'm going to add these to the top up here just because that's going to look nice. Now, what did I say I want to do? Oh yeah, I want to splatter it. So I see I've got my gold paint over here, but I've got to get the right brush. Let's get our fan brush. This is just some Van Gogh watercolor paint. And just need my other paintbrush here to tap with. Okay, that's fun. Then what I'll do is, remember this doily scrap over here? I'm just going to use the excess gold paint on that, like so, to just kind of clean the brush. And that's going to go into my scrappy kind of fodder. So I'll put that over here. Okay, so let's dry this and stitch around it, and I'll be right back to show you the final product. So here we are, all stitched around and just about dry, and that is day 1, well, day 4 of Dephemerember, but Dephemerember. I'm going to hopefully not mess that up as I go along here. It's year 3, we should be able to say it by now. Anyways, yeah, but that's our first ephemera that we made so far. I really love it. I'm very happy with it, and I hope that you will give it a try too. Try especially just playing with freeform shapes, you know. So this is one of those things where, like, you don't have to have a bunch of fancy tools and punches and shaping things and all of that. You can literally just use your hands and make something pretty fun. The other thing you could do is, you know, you can dress this up in different ways. If you were trying to do something steampunk, you could add some clock hands. Some hand stitched on buttons would look really nice, or some actual hand stitching. Obviously, you know, you could go with that veil layer that I was talking about, but yeah, I'm really happy with this as is. I love the sparkle that center has because of that fun netting that I had. That was like either a dollar store or a thrift store find, probably around like either Christmas or Halloween. They bring these things out, but I'm really happy with it, and I'm really looking forward to Dephemerember this year. I will be back tomorrow, and you can check out my description box to find the links associated with Dephemerember. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye for now.